How to study when you are alone. Welcome back to Echo English. Imagine this, it is 9 p.m. The house is quiet, your books are open, your pen is in your hand, and your exam is only a few weeks away. You know you should study, you even want to study, but then something strange happens. You pick up your phone just for a minute, you check one notification, then another. A short video become 10 videos, 10 minutes become an hour. Suddenly you look back at your books and guilt fills your mind. You tell yourself, I will start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes and the same story repeats. Does that mean you are lazy? No. It means you are facing one of the hardest battles a student can face, the battle of studying when nobody is watching. Anyone can work when a teacher is standing beside them. Anyone can stay focused when their parents are checking on them every few minutes. Anyone can study when their friends are sitting around them in a library. But when you are completely alone, when the room is silent, when no one will know whether you study or waste your time, that is when your real character is tested. The truth is that success is rarely built in front of an audience. It is built in ordinary rooms during ordinary evenings when an ordinary person chooses to do something extraordinary. The world's highest achievers were not successful because they were always motivated. They became successful because they learned how to continue even when motivation disappeared. And that is exactly what this video is about. Today, you are not just going to learn how to study alone, you are going to learn how to become someone who no longer needs reminders, pressure, or constant motivation. Because the strongest student is the one who can control their own mind. Chapter 1, Discover the real reason behind your studies. Every action begins with a reason. If your reason is weak, your effort will also be weak. Many students say they study to pass exams, but passing an exam is not a powerful reason. Ask yourself something much deeper. Who do I want to become? Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself 5 or 10 years from now. Where are you? What kind of work are you doing? Who are the people around you? Can you see your parents smiling because of your achievements? Can you feel the pride of reaching a goal that once seemed impossible? That future version of yourself is waiting for the decisions you make today. Every chapter you study is a conversation with your future. Every page you ignore is also a decision. Remember this, dreams are expensive, they demand time, they demand discipline, they demand sacrifice. The price is paid today while the reward comes later. Whenever you feel like quitting, don't ask yourself, do I feel like studying? Instead ask, is the life I want worth 30 more minutes of effort? Most of the time, the answer will be yes. Chapter 2, Your mind is your greatest friend or greatest enemy. Your biggest distractions isn't your phone, it isn't social media, it isn't television. Your biggest distraction is an uncontrolled mind. Your brain naturally looks for comfort. Studying is difficult, scrolling is easy. Learning requires effort, entertainment requires almost none. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your future, it's simply choosing the easiest option. That's why successful students don't rely on feelings, they rely on habits. Imagine your mind as a wild horse. If you never train it, it runs wherever it wants. But with patience, repetition, and consistency, that same horse becomes powerful enough to carry you anywhere. Your mind works the same way. Every time you resist checking your phone, every time you finish one more page, every time you choose learning over distraction, you are training your brain to become stronger. Discipline isn't built in one day, it is built one decision at a time. Never underestimate a small victory. A single focused hour today is far more valuable than 6 distracted hours. Chapter 3, Design a place that makes you want to study. Look around your study space. What do you see? Clothes on the chair, a phone within reach, random papers scattered everywhere. Your environment quietly shapes your behavior. A messy desk often creates a messy mind. Before you begin studying, spend just 5 minutes preparing your space. Clear your desk, keep only the books you need, place a bottle of water nearby, turn your phone off or leave it in another room. These small actions send a powerful message to your brain. Now it is time to focus. Professional athletes prepare the field before they play. Musicians tune their instruments before they perform. Students should prepare their study environment before they begin learning. Your surroundings should help your goals, not fight against them. When your environment supports your focus, studying becomes easier, not effortless but easier. And sometimes making something just a little easier is enough to make it become a daily habit. Chapter 4, Defeat the Silent Enemy, Procrastination. Procrastination doesn't always look like laziness, sometimes it wears a clever disguise. It tells you clean your desk first. Then it says watch one motivational video. A few minutes later, let's just check one notification. And before you realize it, the day is over. The problem is not that you don't have enough time. The problem is that procrastination steals your time one small moment at a time. Think of it like a tiny leak in a water tank. One drop doesn't seem important, but if the leak continues all day, eventually the tank becomes empty. Your future disappears the same way, not because of one huge mistake, but because of hundreds of tiny delays. The greatest lie procrastination tells is this: I will start tomorrow. But tomorrow is one of the most dangerous words in the world. Tomorrow has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. The students who achieve great things are not the ones who always feel motivated. They are the ones who begin even when they don't feel like it. There is a simple secret. Don't tell yourself, I have to finish the whole chapter. Tell yourself, I only need to study for the next 5 minutes. 5 minutes feels easy. Once you begin, your brain slowly enters a state of focus. Those 5 minutes often become 30. 30 becomes 60. And suddenly you have completed work you thought was impossible. Remember, starting is always harder than continuing. The first step carries the greatest weight. Take that step. Chapter 5, Become Your Own Teacher. Most students make one common mistake. They read, then they read again. Then they highlight almost every sentence. It feels productive, but reading is not the same as learning. Real learning begins when you close the book. Imagine standing in front of a classroom. There are 20 students waiting for you to explain today's lesson. Could you do it? Try it. Read one topic, close your book. Now explain it aloud in your own words. Pretend your younger brother, sister, or friend is listening. If you struggle to explain it, don't feel discouraged. That is actually good news because now you know exactly what you need to learn. Every mistake is a map pointing toward understanding. The greatest teachers are often the greatest learners because teaching forces the brain to organize information clearly. Become both the student and the teacher. Ask yourself questions, challenge yourself, write answers without looking at your notes. Learning should be active, not passive. Your brain remembers what it works for. It quickly forgets what it simply looks at. Chapter 6, The Secret Power of Consistency. Imagine two students. The first studies 10 hours in one day and then does nothing for the next 4 days. The second studies just 2 hours every single day. Who will remember more after a month? Almost always the second student. Success does not belong to the person who works the hardest once. It belongs to the person who keeps showing up. Nature teaches us this lesson. A river does not cut through a mountain because it is stronger than the rock. It cuts through the mountain because it never stops flowing. Your daily study habit works exactly the same way. Every page matters, every practice question matters, every revision matters. Each one seems small, but together they create extraordinary results. Many students quit because they cannot see immediate improvement. But learning is invisible before it becomes visible. Just like a seed grows underground before it breaks through the soil, your knowledge is growing inside your mind even when you don't notice it. Trust the process. The effort you make today may not reward you tomorrow, it may not reward you next week, but one day during an exam, while solving a difficult question, or while chasing your dream career, you will realize that every quiet hour you spent studying was preparing you for that moment. Never underestimate ordinary days. Extraordinary lives are built from ordinary days repeated with extraordinary consistency. Now, let me tell you a story. A story about a young eagle who believed that studying and training alone was a curse, until life taught it that loneliness can become the greatest teacher of all. The story of the lone eagle. High above a vast mountain range, there lived a young eagle named Arin. Unlike the other young eagles, Arin spent most of his time alone. While the others flew together, played in the wind, and relied on one another, Arin sat quietly on a high cliff watching the world below. Sometimes he wondered, why do I always have to be alone? He believed that learning would be easier if someone guided him every day. One afternoon, Arin asked an old eagle, why don't I have friends to train with? Why must I learn alone? The old eagle smiled and looked toward the tallest mountain. He said, the higher you wish to fly, the less crowded the sky becomes. Aaron didn't fully understand those words. Days turned into weeks. Every morning before sunrise, Aaron practiced flying against strong winds. He fell many times. Some days he could barely stay in the air. There was no one to encourage him, no one to applaud his progress, and no one to comfort him after failure. The only sound he heard was the wind. Sometimes he wanted to quit, sometimes he envied the birds flying together below. But every single day he climbed back to the edge of the cliff and tried again. Months later, a violent storm arrived. Dark clouds covered the mountains, heavy rain fell, and powerful winds pushed every bird toward the ground. The younger birds panicked. They had never learned to fly alone in difficult conditions, but Arin had. The same lonely practice that once felt unfair had quietly made him stronger. While others searched for safety, Arin soared above the storm. For the first time, he realized that loneliness had never been his enemy, it had been his greatest teacher. Life works the same way. The hours you spend studying alone may seem lonely today, but one day, when life tests you, those quiet hours will become your greatest strength. Chapter 8, Build an Unbreakable Study Habit. Most people believe success comes from motivation, but motivation is like the weather. Some days it's bright, some days it's cloudy. If you only study when you feel motivated, your future will always depend on your emotions. Instead, create a habit. Choose a fixed study time every day. Maybe it is 6 pm, maybe it is 7 am. Whatever time you choose, protect it like an important appointment. When you study at the same time every day, your brain begins to expect it. Eventually, studying stops feeling like a difficult decision. It simply becomes part of who you are. Never wait until you feel ready. Read one page, solve one question, write one paragraph. Small actions repeated every day are stronger than rare moments in intense effort. Remember, great buildings are built one brick at a time. Great students are built one study session at a time. Become the person your dreams need. Many students ask, how can I get better marks? But very few ask, what kind of person do I need to become to earn those marks? Your results are reflection of your habits. Your habits are a reflection of your choices, and your choices are a reflection of your character. Success isn't something you chase, it is something you grow into. Every time you keep your promise to yourself, every time you study instead of giving up, every time you continue even when nobody is watching, you are becoming someone stronger. One day, people will look at your success and call you lucky. They won't see the evenings you studied while others wasted time. They won't see the sacrifices you made. They won't see the loneliness. But you will know the truth. Success was never an accident, it was built one quiet day at a time. If you are watching this today and you often study alone, remember this: you are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not weaker because you are alone. In fact, you are developing one of the rarest skills a person can have: the ability to keep moving forward without needing someone to push you. That skill will help you not only in exams but throughout your entire life. Years from now, you won't remember every chapter you studied, but you will remember the person you became because you refused to give up. The room where you study today may feel ordinary, but one day you will look back and realize that this small room was the place where your future began. So today, don't wait for motivation, don't wait for the perfect mood, don't wait for someone to remind you. Open your book, read the first page, take the first step, because every great journey begins with a single decision, and that decision can be made today. Thank you so much for watching Echo English. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and share it with someone who needs encouragement to keep studying. Remember, every day you choose discipline over distraction, you are investing in a future that your present self can only imagine. And before you leave, I want to ask you one simple question. If no one ever reminded you to study again, would your dreams be powerful enough to remind you every single day? Think about it. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself.